Hello, everybody. Welcome into Fantasy Pros Dynasty YouTube channel. I'm Ryan Wormeli, joined by Scott Bogman and by Pat Fitzmaurice. We are talking some rookie risers in Dynasty leagues coming off of the Senior Bowl. Who showed out here in Mobile? I shouldn't say here. I'm not in Mobile, but who showed out in Mobile and is kind of rising up the ranks here in early February? Fitz, let's start with you. Who's a rookie riser for you?
Yeah, Garrett Nussmeier was one, and he was, by all accounts, the best quarterback at the Senior Bowl, which, not really a high bar to clear. Wasn't a very strong group of quarterbacks in Mobile last week, but Nussmeier definitely reinvigorated his draft stock, which had been sinking like a stone. Because Nussmeier had been pretty good for LSU in 2024 when he led the nation in completions, threw 29 touchdown passes in 13 games, averaged 311 passing yards a game. But he also led the FBS in interceptions with 12, but that's not too terrible a sin when you also lead the nation in pass attempts as he did that year. But 2025, different story. Nussmeier was pretty terrible, averaged almost 100 fewer passing yards a game, only 6.7 yards per attempt, which is pretty terrible for a college quarterback with NFL aspirations. But Nussmeier was trying to play through an injury to his core last fall, and his performance in Mobile suggests that maybe the injury was a real problem for him because he looked so much better at the Senior Bowl than he did in 2025. He doesn't really project as an NFL starter, but he could be a high-level backup or maybe a guy who's viewed as a fringe starter, bridge quarterback who holds down the fort for a period of time until a team can find a better answer. And, good arm. He's a coach's kid. His dad is Doug Nussmeier, former NFL QB and current offensive coordinator for the Saints. So I think his performance in Mobile might make him a day 2 draft pick, and it might get him into the second round of Superflex rookie drafts.
Bogman, any chance Nussmeier ends up the second quarterback drafted?
Second, I don't think so, but I think second round, like Tyler Shook, I think he could. That's the kind of range that we're talking about here, and a guy that was forgotten and then a little bit forgotten because LSU's offense was so terrible this year. Obviously, the O-line didn't give him any Mississippis to get that ball out. I particularly remember Cassius Howell just murdering him on like the second or third play of the game against A&M. Was just brutal to watch. But this is a good quarterback that should hold a clipboard for a couple of years and can rise to the occasion if given the opportunity.
All right, who's your first riser, Bogman?
Let's go with Kevin Coleman Jr., the wide receiver out of Missouri, 5'11", 174, so he's a little bit undersized. He only had one catch in the actual Senior Bowl, but he really turned heads all week by getting massive separation. He was routing dudes up. The footwork was insane. His get-off on press was so quick, and then he created separation with that footwork. Great hands, had a couple of plays where he waited to stick the arms out so that the DB wouldn't try to make a move. So he keeps those hands close until he sticks them out right at the last second and brought in a touchdown a couple times. This dude is, Tank Delish, very light, but creates massive separation for himself. And that is how he's going to get open in the NFL, is by just straight routing dudes up. And he was a lot of fun to watch at the Senior Bowl. Big time performance in Mississippi State before going to Missouri, and before that he was at Louisville. So this guy has bounced around a little bit. 102 targets for Mississippi State in 2024, 932 yards and 6 scores. Only had the 1 score from Missouri. Missouri had a lot of issues on offense this year, but still 84 targets, 66 catches, and 732 yards. So definitely a productive guy if given the chance.
Fitz, any thoughts on Coleman?
I really don't. It's just such it's a hard wide receiver group to sort out. If he runs a blazing time about the combine, then I'm going to be at the combine, I should say. He's going to be interesting because I do think just at the smaller size, like he has to run a 4.4 or less, I think, to get me excited.
Dynasty managers, we just launched the brand new Fantasy Pros Dynasty YouTube channel. We'll bring you rookie rankings, superflex strategy, startup draft, and trade advice all year long. If you're building for the future, this channel is built for you. Just search Fantasy Pros Dynasty channel on YouTube and hit subscribe. All right, Fitz, let's go to your next player.
Yeah, so mine is Malachi Fields, the wide receiver from Notre Dame, and it seems like the receivers who usually pop during Senior Bowl practices are the ultra-quick guys like Kevin Coleman, who just destroy all the Senior Bowl cornerbacks in the one-on-one drills. I remember how everyone who was down in Mobile 2 years ago was reporting that none of the cornerbacks could stay with Lad McConkey and that he was just clowning everyone down there. It's not as common for the bigger receivers, the contested catch specialists, to shine during Senior Bowl week, which is why it's notable that Malachi Fields had such a good week in Mobile. This dude's 6'4", 218 pounds, so he is a classic big-bodied X-receiver. Had kind of a lackluster senior year at Notre Dame, only 36 catches for 630 yards and 5 touchdowns, but the physical traits can absolutely play in the NFL. I don't know what he's going to run at the combine, but he's not slow. So at the Senior Bowl, Fields showed off his contested catch ability and made some pretty impressive plays in drills where he was separating and shaking free of defenders with some pretty crisp route running. So in addition to the highlight reel catches, he showed off some route running chops. And unless his combine testing is disastrous, I'm guessing Malachi Fields probably played his way into day 2 of the NFL draft with his Senior Bowl performance.
I think he's a top 50 pick. I think he's definitely going inside day 2
Round 2?
and high.
Wow.
Yeah, inside day 2, because I mean, this was just confirmation, right? Like Malachi Fields is already kind of hovering around 50-ish. He was probably a borderline second, third guy before this, but I mean, just mossing everybody, making big plays, showing off that speed at his size. I think he definitely pushed himself into the first half of the second round.
Yeah, I read someone saying that he had a wow catch every day at the Mobile practices.
Did he get drafted in our rookie Superflex mock we did a week ago?
I don't think he did.
I think I might have mentioned him as a guy that was like a just missed, and that feels like in future ones he'll be going a little bit higher.
For sure.
I think so.
Bogman, who's your next riser?
I'm going to go with Reggie Virgil, 6'2", 188 out of Texas Tech, came over from Miami, Ohio. Another guy that was a little bit quiet in the bowl itself, but was winning one-on-ones, and he killed DBs with his footwork. But the biggest thing to me was his speed in and out of breaks. I mean, the change of direction, and this is, the different receivers do different things, right? Like, I always thought it was ridiculous that people were like, well, DK Metcalf's going to be no good. His 3-cone drill was bad. Like, well, who cares? Like, that's not what DK Metcalf does, right? That's what Reggie Virgil does, though. He would kill that 3-cone drill with his change of direction. And really, to me, it was how quickly he got up to top speed. I mean, it's in like 2 strides, and he was torching corners in practices. So a dude that made a lot of money for himself, but is also going to be able to run some complicated routes because of his change of direction. We've seen guys like Marquise Brown make a living off of snapping the route off and just giving themselves a big cushion of separation by doing that. And I think Reggie Virgil showed that he can do that at the Senior Bowl. So I don't know how much it's going to push him up in terms of draft stock. I still think he's a day 3 guy, but I do think that he is going to be an underrated asset in this class, where this class, we've poked a lot of holes in this class and have been a little bit hard on it. Now we're starting to see some of these guys rise to the top, and I think Reggie Virgil made himself at least a little bit of money this week.
Fitz, any thoughts?
Yeah, I'm always interested in a guy who's 6'3" and a good route runner. So the only issue with him is that he's skinny, right? He's like, what, 190?
188, yeah.
Yeah, so when you're that tall and you're kind of a big target for defenders to get their hands on with press coverage, and you're that skinny, like that's the question. Can you beat press coverage? So I think that's the one thing he's going to have to answer.
Have a breakout you're trying to buy? Join the Fantasy Pros community on Discord and share your moves in one of our Dynasty threads, chat with other fans, and get access to exclusive AMAs that wind up on our podcast feed. Here's our current schedule. Myself and Fitz at 5 Eastern on the first Tuesday of every month, and then Bogman and Fitz at 5 Eastern on the third Tuesday of every month. Come get your questions answered and be on the show at fantasypros.com/chat. All right, one name left from each of you. Fitz, who's your last riser?
It is Tyren Montgomery. And do you guys know where John Carroll University is?
I have heard of it. I could not even begin to tell you where it is.
Virginia?
No, it is a small private Jesuit Catholic university in the Cleveland, Ohio suburbs.
Okay.
And that is where Tyren Montgomery played his final year of college football. It's a Division III school, John Carroll is. And the reason Tyren Montgomery was there is because he was never a conventional football recruit, did not play high school football. He was a basketball walk-on at LSU. Then he went to Nicholls State, took up football. Then he wound up at John Carroll. And in his final year at John Carroll, 119 catches for 1,528 yards and 15 touchdowns last season. Jaw-dropping numbers, albeit against very low-level competition. So Montgomery did have a lot to prove at the Senior Bowl, and he was actually a late invitee there after having a good week at the American Bowl. So he's smaller. He's 5'11 and a half, 190 pounds, probably a slot guy in the NFL, but he does have the required quickness and athleticism to play that role. And, you know, as I was mentioning earlier, the receivers who usually pop at the Senior Bowl are the quick guys who cornerbacks have trouble staying with. That was Tyren Montgomery at the Senior Bowl. Just proved to be a very difficult guy to cover. So I think he goes from being off the radar for most dynasty managers to a guy who's probably going to be drafted in every rookie draft.
Bogman, where do you think he kind of falls?
Yeah, man, what a performance, right? Like, and just going up from a small school and routing everybody up, mossing guys. He was, outside of Nussmeier, I don't know that anyone else got more buzz than him and Malachi Fields moving forward here. Just great transition from no one knowing him to now everybody knowing him. And yeah, I mean, I think he's probably right in that group just under Malachi Fields. So, you know, potential to go in the third round, probably more of a fourth round, but testing is going to move him. That's going to be his pendulum. The testing at the combine is going to swing him really one way or the other.
Hit us with your last rookie riser here, Bogman.
Mike Washington, the running back from Arkansas, coming over from Buffalo before that. And I really think what we needed to see with him was just get some eyes on him. Big size and speed back, stood out at the running back position when a lot of guys were standing out. And I think the thing that impressed me the most was just to see him cook the linebackers in those one-on-one receiving drills. His footwork was impeccable. It was really good for a man of his size. He looked like a wideout more than a running back out there, and was just creating easy separation. And I think the role that most people would have him pitted for is first and second down. So to see him just really excel in some of those drills and to still run with that violence that he did in the game itself as well, I think it was just getting your eyes on Washington. And if he lands in a spot where he's going to get a real opportunity, I think that Mike Washington could be a nice kind of sneaky player in this class. So I had to point him out as well.
Washington is somebody we've talked about on the show before, Fitz. Where do you come down on him here coming off the Senior Bowl?
I'm intrigued for sure. I do think he's going to land as a second round pick in most dynasty rookie drafts. Just a guy who's that big and probably is not going to run a bad 40 time. I would expect to see him somewhere in the 4.4s. That combination of size and speed, especially since we kind of just had a guy who had a nice size speed combo with Nicholas Singleton break his foot in Mobile. So that's probably going to drop him a little bit in rookie drafts, and maybe Mike Washington leapfrogs him. I think Singleton probably would have gone ahead of Mike Washington before this, but maybe not now.
Yeah, let's actually just wrap up since Fitz hit on it, Bogman. Nick Singleton, I know we're talking about risers on this show, but just coming off the Senior Bowl, what does that do for his value in your opinion here? Not being able to participate really in the rest of this draft process.
Well, the best thing for him was going to be the combine, right? Because we saw Kaytron Allen kind of have the vision that he lacked, and Singleton was going to show off all of his physical skills in the combine. So yeah, it's definitely going to drag him a little bit in this class. So hurts for him, but I don't worry about him, right? Because I think he's got a lot of growth still to go. So I think wherever he lands, he's still going to be a decent asset.
All right. We'll go ahead and wrap things up there. Thanks everybody for checking out this video on our top 6 Dynasty rookie risers coming off the Senior Bowl. For Bogman and Fitz, I'm Ryan Wormeli. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.